Bonjour. We will now start with lesson 4. One of the important topics in French are les articles indéfinis, the indefinite articles. Now, what are your indefinite articles in English? It's a or an, and in plural we say some. So, for example, in front of a consonant we use a, in front of a vowel we use an, and when we have to make an object plural we use some. So, for example, if I have to say a pen, it becomes some pens. An apple, some apples. So, a or an changes to some, and I will add an s after the noun. So, how do we make something plural in English? By adding an s. The same logic applies in French also. We will make an object plural by adding an s. Now, what is a, une and they? A is used in front of masculine singular nouns. Une in front of feminine singular nouns. And if I have to make any noun plural, whether it's masculine or feminine, it doesn't matter, it becomes they. Now, what is this masculine feminine? The logic is same as Hindi. In Hindi, everything is either striling or pulling. Everything has a gender. Now, how do we know in French whether something is masculine or feminine? You have to memorize it. So, the vocabulary that you have memorized in the previous chapters, you would have come across these articles. So, if it is a, that means that noun is masculine. If it is une, that means that noun is feminine. So, for example, a livre, a textbook. Okay, because a is written in front of livre, that means livre is masculine, and a is there, so masculine singular. For example, une maison. Maison means a house. Because une is written in front of maison, that means maison is feminine and it is singular. A livre, une maison. Generally, any noun which ends with an E is feminine in French, but as you can see, there are a lot of exceptions. So, livre ends with an E, but it is still masculine. Maison doesn't end with an E, but it is feminine. A book, a house. Now, if I have to make this plural, a book, some books. So, a will become they and livre with an S. Same logic as English. Des livres, a book, some books. A livre, des livres. The pronunciation is the same. Livre, livre. Une maison, a house, some houses. Une will become des, maison with an S. Une maison, des maisons. For example, une école. Which means a school, the plural will become des, école with an S. So, des écoles. A school, some schools. So, I have just added an S at the end of the noun. This is how you make something plural in French. A is in front of masculine singular nouns. So, whenever you memorize your spellings and your vocabulary, please memorize it along with these articles. It indicates the gender of the noun. A in front of masculine singular, une in front of feminine singular, they in front of any noun which is plural. They translates to some in English. One of the exercises that they will give you in your school or in your examination is something like this. There will be a blank, they will give you certain words and they will say fill it with the indefinite article. Kayer. If you have memorized the vocabulary, you will know that kayer is masculine. So, a kayer. Fee means a girl. Now, common sense says a girl, the word for a girl has to be feminine. So, yun fee. Fami, which means family, it is feminine, yun fami. Om, which means a man, common sense says it has to be masculine, it is a. Now look at these words. They all have s at the ending. That means they are all plural. So in this case, your answer would be DES. They. In all the three instances, your answer would be they, because the noun has an s at the end. Pomme means apple, hotel is hotel, garçon is boy. But since these, even if you don't know the gender, for example, in case of plural you are saved, because the answer is they. Whether it's masculine or feminine, it doesn't matter, your answer will be they. Now remember this, if there is a rule in French, that means there will be an exception to the rule. We've learned so far that if we have to make a noun plural from its singular form, we add an s at the end. A and yun will change to they, and the noun we will add an s. So livre with an s, kayer with an s, gomme with an s, pomme with an s. But there is an exception to the rule. So for example, if the noun in its singular form ends with s, x or z, I'll repeat, if the noun in its singular form ends with s, x or z, it remains the same in its plural form. So for example, a nez, which means a nose, so a will become they and nez will remain as it is. You will not add an s at the end because it is already ending with z. A croix will become they and croix will remain as it is. You will not add an s at the end. A bus, they bus. You will not add another s because it is already ending with an s in its singular form. So please remember, if the noun ends with s, x or z in its singular form, you will not add another s to its plural form. It remains the same. You will only change a to they. Or if it was a feminine noun, you will change yun to they and the noun will remain as it is. Now there are certain words which end with eau or eu or au. These words you can't make it plural by adding an s. So for example, a gâteau, which means a cake, the word is ending with eau. A oiseau, which means a bird, it is ending in eau. A fur, it is ending in eu. Any noun which ends with eau, eu or au will take an x in plural and not an s. So a gâteau will become des gâteaux. A oiseau, des oiseaux. A fur will become des fur with an x. So nouns which end with eau, eu and au will take an x in its plural form. So a will change to they, or if it was a feminine noun, it was yun, it will change to they and then you will add an x in the end and not an s. So remember, generally we make nouns plural by adding an s at the end, but if the noun is ending in s, x or z in its singular form, it will remain the same in its plural form and nouns which end with EAU, EU and AU will take an X in the plural form and not an S. We will now learn the adjectives in French. Les adjectifs. Now what are adjectives? Adjectives are something which tell you more about the noun. In French, adjectives all agree with the noun in number and gender. Now what do we mean by this? For example, take the adjective petit. It means small. If I have to describe a boy, a small boy, if I have to say, and a small girl. Now, for a boy, I will use this, un petit garçon, a small boy. Now, if I have to describe the girl, a small girl, in English the spelling remains the same, but in French it will change. We will have to make the adjective also feminine to agree with the noun in its gender. So, since this is a feminine gender, I will write P-E-T-I-T-E. So, this I have changed the adjective from its masculine form to its feminine form. In French, I will make an adjective feminine by adding an E. We have learned how to make the adjective from masculine to feminine. Now, as I said in the beginning, the adjective agrees with the noun in number and gender. The gender part we have seen. Now we will see the number part. Now what do we mean by agrees with the noun in number and gender? So for example, these are some boys, if this is your sentence. Now I want to describe these boys that they are small. So some boys, what will I replace it with if I have to replace it with a pronoun? They. They are, which will be ils sont. Now I have to say small. So ils sont petits. Now because it is plural, the noun, the adjective will also become plural. So this is what we mean, that the adjective agrees with the noun in number and gender. Now if I want to say these are some girls, okay, and I want to describe them as small. These are some girls, ce sont des filles. Some girls, if I have to replace it with a pronoun, it will be they. But because it's girls, feminine plural, it will become E-L-L-E-S. Elles sont. Now girls, pati, I will have to make it feminine because I am talking about girls. And because I am talking about more than one girl, we will add an S. This is what I mean by saying the adjective agrees with the noun in number and gender. We will learn another adjective called grand. Grand means big or tall in French. The masculine singular form, if you are describing one boy, or a masculine singular noun like a livre, for example, a big book if you want to say, un grand livre, G-R-A-N-D. If it's masculine plural, you want to say big boys, some big boys, G-R-A-N-D-S. If you want to describe a girl like a tall girl or a big girl, one girl, G-R-A-N-D-E. Or a group of girls, you will add an S to the feminine singular form, G-R-A-N-D-E-S. Let's take one more example to understand this concept thoroughly. Let's take the adjective jolie, which means pretty in English. So the masculine singular form, J-O-L-I. The masculine plural, J-O-L-I-S. Feminine singular, J-O-L-I-E. And feminine plural will be J-O-L-I-E-S. So we've learnt now that you make an adjective feminine by adding an E, and we make it plural by adding an S to its singular form. But as always, there are exceptions in French. So for example, let's take the adjective mince, which means thin. In its masculine singular form, it's ending with an E. So in its feminine singular form, it remains the same. You will not add another E. So for example, in the masculine singular form, if the adjective is ending with an E, it remains the same in its feminine singular form. Now the plural will also look exactly the same. Mince with an S in both the instances. So in this particular adjective, the masculine singular, feminine singular, the masculine plural and the feminine plural, they are the same. One more exception about the adjectives that we will learn now. So far we have learned that we make an adjective feminine by adding an E and we make an adjective plural by adding an S. Then we looked at an adjective called mince. For example, if the adjective is ending in the E in its masculine singular form, it remains the same in its feminine singular form. And then we just add an S to make it plural. Now we will look at one more exception to the rule of making an adjective feminine by adding an E. Look at this particular adjective, bon. It means good in English. So it is B-O-N in its masculine singular form. This adjective you will make it feminine by doubling the last consonant or the last letter. So the feminine singular is B-O-N-N-E. The masculine plural will become B-O-N-S and feminine will become B-O-N-N-E-S. Let's look at one more example, grow, which means fat in English. The masculine singular adjective is grow, G-R-O-S. We will make it feminine singular by doubling the last consonant. So, G-R-O-S will become G-R-O-S-S-E. Now, masculine plural. If you remember, we studied the rule when we were studying nouns. How do we make a noun plural? By adding an S. But we studied that if the noun ends with S, X or Z in its singular form, it remains the same in its plural form. The same rule applies to adjectives as well. So, because the masculine singular one is ending with an S, the masculine plural will remain the same. You will not add another S. And the feminine one, it's not ending with an S, it's ending with an E. So, you will add another S to the feminine plural adjective. In the textbook, they have given you one more exception. In the book, it's written beau/belle as masculine singular. This is masculine plural, feminine singular and feminine plural. Now, why is that there are two forms of masculine singular? When do we use each of them? So, for example, if the masculine singular noun is starting with a consonant, that means it's not starting with a vowel, we will use beau. Beau means handsome or beautiful. So, if you are describing a male, you will use handsome as the translation. If it's a female, belle, which is beautiful. So, for example, you want to say a handsome boy. So, a beau garçon. But if you want to say a handsome man, what is man in French? It is homme. Now, homme, the spelling is H-O-M-M-E, but H is a vowel in French. So, in front of vowels, the spelling changes. Only in front of vowels. The meaning remains the same, just the spelling will change. Beau, belle. So, this means a handsome boy, a handsome man. And the plural of both of these is beau. So, if it was a handsome, if we have to say some handsome boys or these boys are handsome, this will change to, and this also, B-E-A-U-X in its plural form. So, this is masculine plural of both of these, and this is the feminine singular and feminine plural. So, the feminine singular is belle. So, a belle fille, or the belle with an S, fee with an S, if you want to say some beautiful girls. So this is feminine singular and this is feminine plural. I will reiterate this point. There are a few other adjectives which follow the similar logic, but we will learn about it in detail in the next book, which is Enchanté book number 2 in class 6. In front of a masculine singular noun, which is not starting with a vowel, so in front of a consonant, you will use this, bo. If the masculine singular noun is starting with a vowel or H, you will use this. But the plural of both of this is this. This is feminine singular and this is feminine plural. Now we have learned adjectives so far. If you know the meaning of the adjectives, you will be able to write the opposites. Often in unseen comprehension or even in your grammar section, there will be a question, écrivez les contraires. Les contraires means the opposites. Write the opposite. So if you know the meaning, if you have memorized your vocabulary, you will be able to write it. They have not explicitly given to you in the textbook that the opposite of grand is this, the opposite of content is this. But if you know the meaning, you can use your common sense and write the opposite. Now for example, grand means big or tall. This is the masculine singular form, this is the feminine singular form. The opposite of grand is petite, somebody who is tall or big, the opposite is small. So because this is masculine singular, the opposite that you will write will be of a masculine singular form. If it was given this in the exam, you will write pati with an ease, petite, pati, petite. Okay. So please be mindful of what has been given to you. For example, if it was a masculine plural adjective. So in this case, your opposite would be pati with a S. So please be mindful of what is given. Let's take another example. Jolie, which means pretty. Now, pretty, the opposite of pretty would be ugly. So jolie, the opposite of jolie would be laid. This is the masculine singular form. So the opposite also that you will give will be in masculine singular form. Jolie with an E, this is feminine singular. So the opposite will also be in the same form. If the question asked was jolie with a S, this is feminine plural, your answer should also be in feminine plural. So please be mindful of what is being asked. Another example now is mince. Now you are wondering, mince in its masculine singular and feminine singular is the same spelling. Now what should be the answer? So in this case, if you write GROS or GROSSE, both options are correct, because the word itself is not giving us a clue whether it's talking about a feminine noun or a masculine noun. Similarly, in this case, mince in its plural form, it's the same in masculine plural and feminine plural. So your answer, again, the masculine plural of grow is exactly the same and grows with an S. Both options are absolutely correct. Now this will be a common question in your exam. Mete or femina? Put it in feminine. So remember, your il will become L. Your conjugation remains the same because the conjugation of etre with il and L is exactly the same. And you will change this adjective into its feminine form. Okay? If this was ils sont gros, they are fat. In this case, your ILS, il, will change to ELLES. Sont will also remain the same because the conjugation of the verb être is same with il and L. and this will become feminine plural. So please ensure that you read the instruction correctly and you understand what is being asked. If it is singular, this will be singular, you will change into feminine singular. This is masculine plural, you will change into feminine plural. Masculine plural, change it into feminine plural. Let's take another example. Je suis beau. I am handsome. Now how will you change this into feminine? I remains the same. There is no feminine of I. So, je, the conjugation will also remain the same. Suis and beau will change to belle. One more example. Tu es grand. You are tall or big. This we will change it into tu will remain the same. Es, the conjugation remains the same. Grand with an E. So, grande. One more example when it comes to météo femina. Let's say the sentence is c'est un garçon. This is a boy. So, the feminine of this will be this is a girl. So, this will remain the same. C'est une fille. That's it. Basically, it is the opposite of garçon, which is fille. Now, let's say the sentence was c'est un petit garçon. This is a small boy. Then the opposite of this would be this is a small girl. So, c'est une petite fille. So, we've written the opposite of garçon, which is fille, and we've made petit into feminine singular. Another very common exercise that they ask you in the exam is météo pluriel, which is put it in plural. Let's do a few examples. Il est grand. So, how will you put this in plural? IL will become ILS. He is tall, they are tall. Now, this is the conjugation of the verb être. So, the corresponding conjugation with ILS is sont. Grand with an S. They are tall. Let's take another example. Elle est mince. She is thin. They are thin. L will become ELLES. The corresponding conjugation for L with the verb être is sont and mince with an S. Now remember, je changes to nous in plural. Tu will change to vous. IL to ILS and ELLE to ELLES. Now when you are changing from je to nous, tu to vous, make sure you change the conjugation as well. Now let's look at some more examples. Let's say the sentence is je suis petit. I am small. So this will change to je, will change to nous. The corresponding conjugation for être with nous is sommes and petit with a S. If this sentence was je suis grande, I am tall or big. Now, this is the feminine singular. That means this je, that person who is saying this, I, is feminine. In this case, this is the masculine singular. That means this je, the person who is talking, is masculine. So, if this was je suis grande, this will change to nous sommes grandes with an S. Now, let's say the sentence is tu es petit. You are small. So, this will change like this. Tu will change to vous. Vous êtes petit with an S. For example, this was tu es grande. This will change to vous êtes grande with an S. This is how we change sentences into plural. We have seen how to change sentences into feminine. Last but not the least, we will do mete or masculin. Put it in masculine. So, for example, if the sentence is elle est petite, you will change elle to il. The conjugation of être remains the same and petite will be without an e. Let's take one more example. Elles sont grandes. Elle will change to ils because it's in plural form. The conjugation of être remains the same and grande will be without the e. It will have an s because we are talking about masculine plural. So your spelling of grande, which is grandes, will become grands. Let's take one more example. Nous sommes beaux. We are handsome. How will we change this? Nous sommes will remain the same, we are remains the same, and beau we will change it into feminine plural, which is belles. The next sentence, vous êtes mince. You are small. How will we change this? Vous êtes will remain the same, and in this instance, mince will remain the same because the masculine plural and the feminine plural are exactly the same. So, there is no change in this particular sentence. And last example, je suis bonne. I am good. Now, because this is bonne, that means this je is feminine. So, how will we change this? Je suis will remain the same and bonne we will write the masculine singular form, which is bon.